Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Sonia Visser, Head of Sales at Hypothesis. And the session today we're going to be covering enhancing OER with social annotation using Pressbook and Hypothesis together. So we'll be learning about Pressbooks, which is a versatile platform for creating and sharing open educational resources, and as well as Hypothesis and how social annotation can foster student engagement with those course materials. I'm so happy to be joined today by John McLeod, who is the sales team lead for Pressbooks. One little housekeeping note, anytime during the presentation, if you have any questions for either of us, just go ahead and drop those in the Q&A and we'll be checking them throughout this half hour. So John, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks again.
Thanks, Sonia. Appreciate the invitation, and I hope you're having a great week with Annotated.
Thank you.
I'm just going to speak a little bit about what Pressbooks is, and we do have an integration in our networks with Hypothesis, so just talk a little bit about that. Just want to make sure everything's backwards in my Zoom, so I'm getting used to your Zoom, and I apologize for that. What is Pressbooks? So Pressbooks is an online publishing platform where open source software, just like Hypothesis, and it makes it easy for authors and institutions to generate clean, well-formatted books in multiple different outputs. So you can build a web book, and at a click of a button, you can export it to multiple different formats. Pressbooks is built on WordPress, and like I said, is open source. What commonly referred to as Pressbooks, you might have a Pressbooks is at your institution, and Pressbooks is a network. So we set up networks, or institutions can set up networks on their own. Individuals can set up networks on their own if they have that ability. So it's a centrally managed network. Basically a WordPress multi-site, which contains and can contain an unlimited number of books. So when we refer to a book, it might be just something like what I've got on your screen here. So this is just a little demo book that we have on our demo network, where we show how to integrate H5P, Pressbooks, and the effects of Pressbooks results, Hypothesis, and LTI integration between a network and an LMS. So if I just click down into the book here, this is a chapter. So we've got reading exercises set up. We're in a chapter here. Now I'm logged in. That's why you see this edit button. If you were just visiting this book regularly, you wouldn't see the edit unless you were an author on the book and you were logged in. So you can see here, just in my pane here on the right-hand side, one of the things that we do at Pressbooks is we give authors the opportunity to turn on Hypothesis automatically on a book. So instead of having to activate the web extension for Hypothesis, that's automatically on the right-hand side here. So you can see I'm logged in as in a private group, but I can also see public annotations on this chapter. So there's 18 public annotations. And then I have my private group here where I've highlighted and started annotating myself. If I went into this book on the administration side, you can see here, this is where, as an author, when I'm looking at this book, if I go to settings and I go to the Hypothesis pane, this is where I can make changes to the default settings. So whether I want the highlights on by default, I can turn that off or on. Even if I have the sidebar open on by default, if I want that sidebar to be open, I can make a change here, save that change. And now when I view this chapter, and let me just go to the book and back to the chapter, you can see that now that annotation page is open by default. So that's the different kind of things that authors can do so that Hypothesis is available for their readers and their students without activating any of the extensions that they're automatically activated. So that's how Pressbooks uses Hypothesis. If you're interested in anything else about Pressbooks, the Hypothesis integration, or how your Hypothesis works in conjunction with uh, your LMS integration, be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, anyone have any questions for John? You can put those in there. John, maybe it would be helpful if, oh, we've got a question that popped up. Does Hypothesis work the same when embedded in LMS? That is a fantastic question, Jeremy, because that's going to segue over to my portion of today's discussion, which is going to show you, John showed you just Pressbooks and how we have that interaction there. But I'm going to actually dive in and talk to you a little bit about how Hypothesis works within the learning management systems, and I'll give you an example in Canvas, but we work in all the major learning management systems, and I can show you, exactly what that integration looks like. So I'm going to jump over to my Canvas site. And feel free, any questions for John or myself, go ahead and put those in the Q&A. I'm gonna share. I apparently can't talk and navigate at the same time. You all should see my Canvas instance, hopefully. I'll let John give a thumbs up since I can see him. If he can see my, great, good. So this is our example, our demo site within Canvas. So I've gone ahead and I've actually created an assignment using a Pressbook content. So I'm going to click into this. You can see that when we integrate with the learning management system, it's LTI. We're an external tool, so students can have they'll have single sign-on, and you can actually create assignments and embed Hypothesis on that content. So when you're using a Pressbooks content, you can actually load that right here. I will say that the Pressbook content that you load in here does have to be the open access. It cannot be ones that if you have to sign into that, it needs to be open access Pressbooks. So we've already got this example. This faculty member professor has asked some questions of their students. I'm going to go ahead and load our content, which again is this Pressbooks example. And as you'll see, it'll look very similar to what John showed you as well. Hypothesis is the sidebar, a lot of the same functionality that is here as in what you saw with John. A couple of the differences are we actually integrate with the gradebooks. So, all of the major learning management system gradebooks we interact with, as well as we have a participatory grading that can be used when you create an assignment. So this Pressbooks content is on the 14th century adventures of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. How this works is faculty students, they can just hover over any piece of this content, and Hypothesis will link those questions, those comments. Everything is anchored to this content. So I'm going to click annotate, and now you can see we can type in our question, type in our comment, and students and faculty can engage with that. It is similar to what you may use in class already if you have a discussion board, but you can see that those discussion boards are static outside of that content, and this really allows you to engage with this content anchored to this and having those conversations on these on the Pressbook content that was created. I'm going to see, I think I saw a couple questions pop up, so I'm going to jump down. Did we have any questions, John? I can't see those when I'm sharing.
No, just the one question about Hypothesis in the LMS.
Okay, great, good. And John shared a couple of items in chat for you as well. Here, like I said, within Hypothesis, you can use this to really create robust conversations. I'm going to jump back and show you a couple of other examples with a different type of content, but it just shows the ability for you to draw students into some really thought-provoking conversations, being able to ask those direct questions right on the content. Example here is you can link in different websites and images and memes. So this one professor is asking their students to complete their pizza surveys. So you can see that a threaded conversation has occurred where students can now link in the surveys and they can have that have also do those creative type of assignments here within Hypothesis. Further down, we've got what's your most authentic pizza commercial? So you can pull in different images, like I said, and videos, and they stay right here, and they're linked to that content. And then, finally, you can ask those really pointed questions. How should George respond to this proposal? And we've got some pretty in-depth conversations that can happen right there within the LMS, and it can be graded, or you don't have to grade that. So those are the basics of using Hypothesis in the LMS. One thing I will show you is actually how to create an assignment with the LMS, because I think that'll be powerful for you to see actually how to use the Pressbooks book, the Pressbook content that was created. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Assignment. Here, I'm going to label this my Pressbook example 2. And again, you can put in those instructions. You want to make sure that external tool is chosen. I'm going to type in Hypothesis and click Find and go ahead and select that. And at this point, you'll have the wizard that allows you to pull in different types of content. I already have that same Pressbooks content loaded on my URL, so I'm going to copy that, come right back into Canvas, copy and paste, and hit submit. Again, like I said, we do automatically integrate into our grade books, but you can do participatory grading. You can create group assignments. There's a lot of functionality within your learning management system that you can use when you enable Hypothesis. I'll click continue, select, and then I'm just going to go ahead and save. And now you'll see when we jumped into back to those assignments here, here is my assignment, and now I can load that content, and we are off to the races, as you saw in my my previous example. And Hypothesis will appear as the sidebar. So there's lots of different ways that faculty can use Hypothesis, and you can use it when you are actually creating that textbook or that content, or you can use it once you have an assignment ready to go.
So, Sonia, Jeremy asked a follow-up. I answered it, but could you just explain how student annotations made through the integration with the LMS are not available to the public to see?
That is correct. Yes, thanks, John. So, Hypothesis that you would be using perhaps that's already linked into Pressbooks itself, or if you use our web app function, those have the ability for the public to be able to access, and really anybody, as long as they have like they create an account and they can sign in. If you've provided them with access to that group, then they can join. The integration with the learning management system, as I showed you, it's an LTI integration. Therefore, everything. It's really our LMS app. So it's a different hypothesis, and it allows you to have everything security, privacy. They're logging in, single sign-on with Canvas. So it's everything is happening right in the Canvas course. No one else can see it, but the students that are in that course. And if that's why it integrates with the gradebook. There's different types of content you can use when you use Hypothesis in the LMS. And again, it's really that security and privacy. When Hypothesis was formed about 15 years ago, we were a nonprofit, and as we started working with institutions and really seeing that colleges, universities, they wanted to be able to annotate in their courses, we needed to really have that LMS integration to provide that security and privacy for FERPA and other reasons. So that is the difference between the types of annotations that you see within the learning management system and then those without. So that's a great question. Are there any other questions? And I will say one other thing. If you're using Hypothesis outside of the LMS in our web app versus Hypothesis in an LMS course, those two do not communicate with each other at this time. So they are separate from each other. So I think John mentioned that too. One of the things I wanted to share is I have a couple of examples and a couple of case studies. We did a case study with University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They were looking at OER content and specifically thinking of, are students engaging, when OER is used in courses, are students engaging with that content more than just just a regular textbook? And these case studies that I'm going to talk about are on our website, and I will share our website before the end of this presentation. And what they found was that absolutely that students are annotating more when Hypothesis was used in with OER content, that they are engaged more with the faculty members and other students when they're using OER content. It's the conversations that are anchored to that content are more robust, and you can see that students that use Hypothesis have there's a greater retention and a greater grasp of the concepts within the coursework as well. So I do want to share some of that data and those points as we have faculty that are looking that are using Pressbooks, that are thinking, oh, could I use Hypothesis? Or even if we've got faculty here that are starting to think about using Pressbooks for the first time. So OER content and Hypothesis work very well together. Do you have? Yeah, go ahead, Jonna.
Sure. I was just going to say, Sonia, I was just going to pop in to the chat, the Pressbooks directory. If you are looking for any open access content to use in a class, Pressbooks directory has over 8,000 different publications that have been published on, I think it's up to 192 different Pressbooks networks. So there's over 500 institutions that are publishing to the directory and sharing their content openly. I was also just going to share, if you are interested in adapting any of that material, a lot of the majority of those 8,000 publications on the directory are shared with Creative Commons licenses and are available to adapt. So I just popped in a link to our webpage with information on adapting open textbooks that can be done from one network to another easily, or within our own. We have a Pressbooks set up ourselves for individual authors. So if your institution doesn't have a network set up, or you don't have access to a shared network through a consortium, you can go to pressbooks.com and sign up for an account. And you can begin cloning, and we have a cloning routine which allows you to copy one Pressbooks book from a network to our own network, or any network you have access to. So you can make adaptations and make changes to any material that's got a Creative Commons license.
Great. And that's for anybody to be able to use, right, John? It's not that, you don't have to have it's not it's all open source and not behind any sort of a paywall, correct?
Yeah, so pressbooks.com, if you sign up for a self-publisher account there is a free trial when you create a book. So you have a 7-day free trial, and then that gives you the opportunity to decide whether you want to subscribe. If you do subscribe, create a book, and maybe you're making changes to a copied book, if it's got a Creative Commons license, you can end the subscription at any point, and as long as the book is publicly available and has that Creative Commons license, we'll maintain it for no additional charge.
That's great. Good. We have just a few minutes left, so I just want to see if anybody else has any questions for John or myself. I too will populate our website here in the chat, so that if you're interested in, if your institution's not using Hypothesis and you're interested in using Hypothesis, you can go to our website. We have forms there that you can fill out, and our account executives will be in touch to to be able to talk to you about getting a license for the institution or for yourself. So please do fill that out. But and on that website is also a link to our case studies that talk about some of the examples I showed you today, or talked about today, and just the work that we do with the OER content, similar to the Pressbooks that John mentioned. So we do have a question, I think. Are there trainings on Hypothesis with Pressbooks or a badge for this work? So that's a great question. So we do have, when you are a partner with Hypothesis, we do provide workshops and trainings, and can get you set up. And then we also, within that partner work that we do, we have a Hypothesis Academy, which is a 2-week asynchronous course that takes a deep dive into Hypothesis. And that Hypothesis Academy does provide a badge that and a certificate once you have completed that coursework. And in a lot of cases, we work with institutions that that can also be part of your professional development, and you can get PD credit for that as well. So so those are opportunities when you're a partner with us.
And I'll pop in a link to our webinar page as well. We have monthly webinars that our support team provides. And one of the webinars every month is creating engaging material with Pressbooks. And we do cover off Hypothesis during that webinar as well. No badges though. Yet.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. They are. That's we've been giving badges for a lot of our different courses, John. So
that's great.
You all need to do.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you, John, for joining me today, and telling us a little bit about Pressbooks, how folks can get started, and please, if you want to learn more, go to the different sites that we've posted in our chat. And we're so happy that you all were able to attend, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Sonia. Bye-bye.